With regard to there being no conclusive test that confirms or refutes that unwanted sexual contact has occurred, when somebody comes to an SATU, we gather a number of pieces of evidence. So, first of all, there will be the patient's disclosure, their history of what happens. There may be corroborative evidence, such as from CCTV or whatever. And in terms of the samples that we take and the tests that we do, there may be forensic evidence that confirms that sexual intercourse has occurred. However, there isn't a test, a specific test that you can do that absolutely confirms that that sexual intercourse has been unwanted. People think anecdotally, if you ask people, they will say, well, surely it's very clear from examination whether somebody has been raped. But as Noeline says, the rape does not always involve physical force. Or it may be even if it does involve physical force, because the body is designed to have sexual intercourse, that physical force may not actually cause an injury. And I think that study that looked at pregnant adolescents, I think is really important, that these people were absolutely and definitively pregnant. There were 36 of them, and of those 36 women, when they went back and looked at the tests that were done, and it was because they were adolescents, they had colposcopy, so there was photographs, they could look and see, were there injuries identified at the time? And there weren't. So there is a huge heterogeneity in whether there will be an injury or not an injury at the time of sexual intercourse in terms of rape, and therefore there isn't a definitive or conclusive test that can either confirm or refute that the sexual intercourse has been unwanted. In terms of the Garda investigation, that takes all the different pieces of evidence, and then obviously the court process will have all the witnesses, and beyond reasonable doubt is the burden of proof there. But there is the standard of proof there. But in terms of a single test that we could do if somebody says that they're 10 weeks pregnant as a result of rape, there isn't a test that we can do. In terms of the impact of criminalisation, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of discussion about this, and the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynaecology has absolutely recommended that termination of pregnancy should be taken out of any criminal standpoint. And you're right, there is a huge potential amount of additional stress that is placed on people, not just because they travel, but because there may be a fear that there would in some way be some kind of criminal accusation visited upon them, and that is of course a whole source of additional stress. And I think Noeline will probably mention, speaking to people after the event, that there can be concerns raised in that regard.